Good morning, this is Joelle Leyden, the Inspiration Coach with your Monday Mind Shift. I want to talk to you about transitioning from your job to your life's calling. Many of my clients, that's what they see me for. They're dissatisfied with their life, they're very successful at what they do, but it doesn't speak to them anymore. It's not aligned with their values, it's not aligned with who they've become. And they're seeking to do something new, but they don't quite want to quit their job yet because they need that sense of security. So there are 5 fundamentals that I go by that are essentially what I would consider your how to move yourself from your job to your life's calling. And the first 3 are, I would consider them sort of eggy. Lissa Rankins talks about being more eggy, less sperm. These are more eggy. And so the first fundamental is a knowing. It's getting clarity on the fact that you and only you know what's right for you. There will be many people in your circles, they could be family, close friends, who will find reasons to tell you why it's impossible for you to do what it is that you're being called to do. And why would you want to leave a secure job? And why would you want to leave a secure paycheck and pension and blah, 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 so on and so forth. Bottom line, you know what's right for you. Trust in that. The second piece around this, it's a second fundamental, is the need to make quiet time for yourself. We tend to get very heady about needing to know what to do and what steps to take. That's a very spermy approach. The second fundamental requires you to make quiet time. And in the quiet time, you empty out your thoughts, you create space for clarity to happen, you create space for inspiration to happen. So whether you take on a meditative practice, whether you take on journaling, quiet something is really integral. It's a really important fundamental to creating your life's work. The third fundamental is tapping into your creativity. And what that might mean is that it could mean that you decide to plant a garden. It could mean that you begin to collage or perhaps take a watercolor class. It could also take the form of going out into the garage and fiddling around with a lawnmower. That's also very creative. It requires a lot of problem solving and a lot of intricate kinds of thinking. So the creativity process, the creativity fundamental, does not necessarily have to be connected at all in any way, shape, or form to that which you want to create in terms of your life calling. But it's a space for you to be in that will again be very inspirational and will create a lot of ideas while you're in the process. Because it's not necessarily about the product. It's not necessarily about having a beautiful garden, although, that's a wonderful end result. But it's more about the process of creating it, right? So the first 3 fundamentals, being clear on knowing what's right for you, creating quiet time, and creating space to be creative, are really very important that you do those first before you go into the spermy activity, which is action. Once you've sat quietly, once you've had inspiration, once you've had clarity, then the how shows itself up. And I love this quote by Danielle Laporte. Check her out if you haven't. But the quote goes like this: launch and learn. We oftentimes get stuck in our heads thinking, well, that's all great and good, but I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. Just do. Just make mistakes, get messy, just do. And in the process of doing, you will create more self-confidence, you will create more activity, action, confidence, action, confidence, action, confidence. It all builds up. And you will find before you know it, opportunities, people, circumstances, situations present themselves that you perhaps were not even aware of before. But because you are now clear, you've created space, and you're in the creative process, these opportunities are showing themselves up in a much more available way to you. The last piece, the last fundamental, is it requires for you, again, to go back into a little bit of an eggy place. And that is for you to have compassion and love for yourself through this process. Know that whether you make mistakes or whether you are successful, either way, there's a need to be compassionate with yourself. That you celebrate your successes by rewarding yourself with a lovely bath, with a trashy novel. But you also choose not to get down on yourself, but recognize that the mistakes or the lack of success is just a learning process, and you're just doing research. So for those of you not knowing how to get to the next place from your job to your life's calling, these are 5 fundamentals that I absolutely recommend in that order. So we want to go spermy before we spend our time in our sort of quiet, eggy space. I recommend that you do the latter, not the former. Is that what I meant? I think I just meant that you need to be eggy before you get spermy. So thank you, Lissa, for that little pearl for this week. I would love to hear where you're at. Leave me some feedback below. I read each and every one of your posts. And of course, I respond to each and every one of your posts. Please respond. If you like this content, like and share it with all of your friends. So this is Joelle Leyden. I'm, signing off and sending you all of my love your way. I wish you a spectacular week. Mwah. Bye.